Hello and welcome to the very first episode in my brand new studio kitchen. My name is Sean, also known as ChilliChump, and I am absolutely passionate about chilies. I love making hot sauces, I love making spicy recipes, I love throwing in a bit of tech to help me out with all those things as well. And if any of that sounds interesting to you, make sure that you are subscribed down below. About 8 months ago, Mrs. ChilliChump and I moved to our new property to start the next step of our ChilliChump adventure. And we've been very busy getting things all set up. We have the greenhouses out the back and of course the kitchen over here. This has taken a lot of work, but I'm so happy with the results. There was just one thing that was missing before I could actually come out and do my debut video, and that was a sign. Well, there it is, and it is wonderful. My lovely patrons contributed towards getting me this sign, and I received it a few weeks ago and finally got it put up. There's only one thing to do. I need to get this switched on because some of them actually haven't seen it just yet, and I think it looks amazing. So here we go. I just love that. It is so great. Thank you guys so much. There's going to be a bit of a list at the end of this video of the folks that actually contributed towards this as a bit of a thank you. This video is dedicated to you guys. Now, this video isn't just about showing you my new kitchen and my awesome new sign. It's also to show you a cool recipe. I thought I'd kick off in the new kitchen with something really simple that any of you can do. You probably have the ingredients in your house already, and it is so delicious. My wife absolutely loves this, so do I actually. The Nandos Perinaise. It's a peri piri mayonnaise, and it just goes great with so many things. I'm going to show you a very simple recipe to make arguably a better tasting version of this. We're going to need 1 egg whole. You're going to need some acid whenever you're making a mayonnaise like this. Lemon juice goes perfect with the perinaise that we're going to be making. Mustard, this is going to help emulsify everything. Very important. You can use powdered as well. You don't have to use liquid. But teaspoon of salt. I'm just using a cheap stick blender. You can use hand whisk if you want. That's very painful, but stick blenders do fantastically. You don't need an expensive one. This is quite a cheap one. You can use a food processor as well. That might make it a little bit easier adding the oil, but this here does the job just fine. And once that is mixed up, you want to then start adding oil very slowly. So literally drops at a time to start, and then you can go a little bit quicker as it starts emulsifying. Try and use an oil that does not have a lot of flavors. Things like olive oil is not going to do very well. Canola works perfectly, but you can experiment. But you'll notice that with the stronger tasting oils, it kind of ruins this a little bit. Once your mayonnaise has started binding and it looks like actual mayonnaise, it's time for us to start adding the rest of the ingredients. This over here is one of my peri peris, freshly picked from the garden, and we only need 1 of them. That'll be more than enough spice for this. This over here is a marugula. This is a super hot, and we'll be doing something with that a little bit later. Over here are some garlic cloves. We're going to use some fresh garlic. You can use powdered as well. If you are able to smoke your peppers before you add this, so if you're making a chipotle or something like that, then that's perfect. You don't need this. But if not, like in my case, then a little bit of smoked paprika. We're going to be using 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. You're going to be adding equivalent of 2 teaspoons of sugar into this. This is another thing to point out. I'm using a little squeegee bottle. This is perfect for making mayonnaise because you want the oil to go in very slowly. You want to control the flow. If you have it in a jug, then it makes it a little bit more difficult to actually control how much oil is going in at a time. Now, because this blender, the blades are quite tiny, I'm going to have to chop up my chili a little bit as well as the garlic, else it's just not going to blend. So try not to get this on your fingers because it is spicy and it will burn. We do the same thing with the garlic. This adds such a lovely flavor and color actually. Carry on blending now and getting the oil to emulsify. Carry on pouring it slowly, but not as slow as in the beginning because it should hold the bind quite nicely now. Time to give it a bit of a taste and see how we've done. If you are having problems with your mayonnaise not binding together, make sure that everything's at room temperature. The oil must be at room temperature, the eggs, everything. So if you are using eggs out the fridge, let them come up to room temperature first, or you might have some problem. And also just add that oil very, very slowly. And this will keep for about a week in the fridge. Other than trying to add some preservatives to it, yeah, about a week is as much as I keep it. So try and make it fresh. I know I've made quite a large batch here. You can obviously reduce the ingredients proportionally if you want to halve this, but it should work just fine. I just find it easier to do a bit of a larger batch. Can be a bit of a challenge with smaller batches. So I'm going to give this a bit of a try. I'm not going to have that whole spoon because it is mayonnaise, but see how we did. So good. Very, very good. Honestly, you'd be hard pressed to not really tell the difference. I mean, you can tell the difference between this and that, the Nandos Perinaise, but this tastes amazing. If you have never tried it before, if you're going to have fries, you normally have it with ketchup, try it with some of this stuff. It is mind-blowing. So there is another way to do this that is actually a little simpler than doing it the way I've shown here. The dribbling of the oil can be a bit tedious. I will try and show that way. It doesn't always work, but I'll give it a go. The only problem is I can't use this blender for this method. This blender works perfectly fine for the method I've just shown you, but for what I'm going to try now, yeah, you need a bit more of a powerful stick blender. This blender is from my actual kitchen. This is from AEG. It's a bit of a beast, much more powerful than this other one, but for this method you do need something quite strong. The ingredients are pretty much the same. The big difference here is that you're going to be adding everything pretty much all at once. Yeah, this is no joke. This is some seriously hot chili in my hand. But we're going to throw that in right away. We're also going to throw in the garlic. And that's same again, half a tablespoon. And some acid. That's 2 teaspoons or half a tablespoon. I might actually add a little bit more sweetness because of the heat that we're adding. So 3/4 of a tablespoon or 3 teaspoons. That's dirty. I'm gonna have to guess a little bit here, but that's a teaspoon. Now we just got to add the oil, and that goes straight in. Like I said, this doesn't work every single time. Let's see how we get on. Let's see if we can get it to work this time. Well, there we go. Thank goodness. And that's the first take as well. I didn't have to do that multiple times. Quite nervous to give it a try. Actually, I'm curious as well. It might taste good. Maybe it's something I'll make more often in the future. But look at that. Perfect mayonnaise. Again, not eating this whole lot because it is mayonnaise, but let's give it a bit of a try. Good flavors up front. Can't really get the heat yet, but this is a lot of oil in there. And there's the heat. It's not terrible. It's not too bad. I mean, the heat side, I mean, the flavors, brilliant. Actually, well, that was a fun little experiment. I thought it was going to be some entertainment for you guys, seeing me in pain. That's actually heating up quite a bit now. I think I prefer the heat levels of that. Flavors, I'd have to adjust a couple things, but it's got a good base. I think there's a couple things I'd want to add here to complement the flavor of the chinense, you know, the super hot of the marugla. But that's pretty damn good. Hope you give that a try. Try one of the other super hots as well. They'll all be fairly similar, whether it's the marugla, 7-pot primo, Carolina Reaper, My mouth's watering. It is really tasty, but they'll all have a very similar effect. But give that a go. And if you want to be a little bit crazy, then add a few and let me know in the comments below if you do try that and tell me how it turned out. Really good. And now I think I got mayonnaise on my beard and moustache. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me on this debut run inside my new studio kitchen. There's going to be so much more content coming. I can't wait to share with you guys, and some new series as well that I'm going to be putting together inside here in the studio. So I'm looking forward to you guys joining me for those. And until then, thank you so much for watching, and stay spicy.